Barry was supposed to be the fastest man alive, isn't he? Can he stop the new villain? Welcome to the Complete Story Series, where I take trade paperbacks and single issues and I break them down into digestible bites to help you understand. Then I read it dramatically back to you. All alterations to the panels, text, and images are to prevent copyright problems, and all art is owned by its respective companies. This is a rebirth, a DC rebirth. It is not a reboot, it's a new status quo as DC brings back the things that you loved about your favorite superheroes and puts them into the existing timeline. We're going to be showcasing select issues of the rebirth to let you know the starting points for these series. Each of these rebirth comics is continued in a mainline book of the same name. This is Flash Rebirth, and it follows the story of Wally West. Barry Allen is never happy when he shows up on a crime scene, because this stuff shouldn't happen in Central City. It just shouldn't. As he walks away from the crime scene, an odd image appears before him, and a kid in a Flash-styled costume calls out to him, "Barry!" But Barry rubs his head thinking, what a weird headache. Then he sees someone else, someone who is obviously evil, appearing before him, telling him, "I'm gonna kill them all, Flash!" Barry rubs the space between his eyes, and someone reaches out to touch his shoulder. He turns around and he sees the Reverse Flash standing there, so he suits up, grabs Zoom, and he puts him in a chokehold, shouting, "Not again!" Then he snaps out of it. He didn't do any of that. He was still standing right in front of the house. He walks away wondering if these visions are a new power or something else. He thinks about how when he was younger his mother was killed and his father was blamed for that murder. Well, recently he found out that it was actually a man going by the name Professor Zoom. He defeated Zoom and cleared his father's name, and then he cleared his name with the city, making his father and himself a free man. His father was turned into one of the people that Barry Allen can trust, and that is where he goes to ask him what he thinks about these visions. His father doesn't have much to go on, but Barry thinks that maybe the Speed Force is trying to warn him of something. So his father asks, well, that would mean that the Speed Force is having some of its own thoughts. Has anyone researched the Speed Force? Barry tells him no, there's kind of a treaty in place that no one's allowed to research the Speed Force, and with nothing to go on, Barry decides to go for a run to sort out all of his thoughts and figure all of this out. When there's a crack of lightning, and someone is standing in front of him. A kid in a yellow version of his costume. Barry looks at him and he tells him, "I don't understand! I hope one day you will. You were right, Barry. Every second is a gift. That's why I won't die in anguish. I'll go with love in my heart. Goodbye, Barry." Then it dawned on Barry who this was. He knew who it was, and he had to save him. Wally? He reached out and the lightning went crazy, striking the ground in the air, but Barry managed to pull Wally out of everything that he had going on. Wally hit the ground on his knees and he was stunned. I'm back! Wally has been lost in the Speed Force ever since the event Flashpoint, but if you want to know more about where he's been, then check out the DC Rebirth video. Wally looked up at Barry. "You said my name! You brought me back!" And Barry was shocked with himself. "I'm so sorry, Wally. My God, how could I have ever forgotten you?" Wally West, this Wally West, was Barry's old sidekick before the Flashpoint ever happened, and he was forgotten for years. He steps forward and he tells Barry, "This whole thing isn't because of the Flashpoint. Someone else used you running through time as a way to weaken everyone and set things back by a decade. That way they can win against us." "Well, whatever it is, Wally, it won't stand a chance against us now that you're back." Wally puts his hand on Barry's shoulder, and that's a Flash fact. Barry runs off to tell Iris what's going on, but Wally catches up to him and he tells him that he isn't ready to tell everyone that he's back. Things are missing from both of their lives, relationships, friendships, so many things. And in it all, Wally even lost his wife. He isn't ready to tell the other people about this yet, only to realize that they won't know what's going on. So Barry agrees and he tells Wally, "You're going to need a new suit. You aren't Kid Flash anymore. You're a Flash." And that's when they part ways, so that Wally can sort things out. While Wally thinks Barry saved him, Barry knows the truth. Wally saved him by bringing him back. Barry ran off to find Batman and start looking at this whole situation with him. And that's when he finds Batman in his cave looking at a smiley face with a mark of blood on it. He fills Bruce in on everything about Wally West and how time is now missing, and they talk about it for a long time. And in the end, they agree that this needs investigating, but until they have anything concrete to go on, they'll leave it to only Batman and the Flash to work this case. But there is someone else out there now. Someone else who can move at high speeds. Almost at the speeds of a god. At a god's speed. And that concludes the Flash Rebirth issue. Now, if you do want to follow the adventure of Wally West, he does move on to go into the Titans Rebirth issue, which we will be getting to very soon, so don't worry. It takes place after Titans Hunt, so we had to do that first. And if you want to get more about Barry Allen, the Flash book will be starting with issue number 1 very soon, so check that out. I hope you guys are enjoying these Rebirth issues. Let me know in the comments down below any other ones that you want. And don't forget to follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Comicstorian, and I'll see you next time right here.